Hello, hi, and welcome or welcome back to the Strategic Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Blue, and I'm a business astrologer here to help you use astrology so that you can start, grow, and scale your online business. This episode is super exciting because we are talking all about creating content that converts. Because what is the point of making all of this fantastic, juicy content for your business if it's not actually going to lead to conversions? So in this episode, we're going to be talking all about how to plan your content to be able to reach the audiences that you want to reach so that you're able to market and sell your services with ease. Every successful business has content that works for you. That is one of the things that no matter what niche, no matter what industry that you're in, they all have in common. And when it's done right, content can be an evergreen salesperson for your business. It's literally what we use to draw attention to your work, your framework, your expertise. Creating content to be high converting and long lasting is actually what allows your business to be able to be found, consumed, and appreciated months or years after you publish it. This is key for creating sustainability in your business. However, creating content that converts doesn't just happen. In fact, virality is actually less predictable than sustainability is. That's why when you have an astrologically aligned business, it's really important to use the system for your content planning, not just in figuring out your business foundations. This is actually inspired by my own experience in developing this process, because refining this process and creating this system is actually what allows me to create content sustainably to consistently market and sell my offers even while having a full-time job. And so you can use this system within your own business and also use your specific astrology placements to support you through it. And in this episode, I'm going to walk you through exactly what that looks like. Now, planning your content really comes down to following the high converting content process, which I actually talked about in the previous episode. Just as a little refresher, the high converting content process looks like this. The first step is creating one long form, high quality piece of content in your primary content type. Then you're able to repurpose pieces of that one long form content for your secondary content types. That is how you create high converting content that is able to be published on a really consistent basis. And so once you understand what your primary content type is, the next really big question to answer is, what is your cadence of publishing? Or how often should you be publishing content? Consistency is less about posting every day and more about the cadence of what you can commit to without sacrificing quality within your content. I know this gets really, really tricky because there is this idea that you need to be posting every single day in order to make sales, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. In fact, for myself and most of my clients, a weekly schedule is more than enough to be able to follow the high converting content process, to be able to create a really juicy piece of long form content and also to repurpose that piece of content into high converting short form pieces of content using the primary content type and the secondary content types as well in your business. What I do find is that the newer your business is, the higher frequency your publishing needs to be. Now, this is not talking about how experienced you are in business. You could have experience for 15 years running your business, but if the current business that you have right now is still fairly new, there still needs to be a higher frequency of publishing content before you commit to posting less. And the simple reason for this is that you just need to get your reps in. It's almost like going to the gym, right? You need to put in that practice and get used to working with particular muscle groups, doing particular exercises before you can utilize the benefits of doing that workout less. Getting your reps in is really allowing you to have the space to publish your content and get better at the content creation process. Even once you solidify what your primary content type is, let's say that your primary content type is writing, perhaps the skill of writing itself could be improved. You can be a better writer, but that will only come the more that you actually write. The same goes for if your primary content type is video, audio, or visual. The more that you practice that particular skill, the better that you are naturally going to get at that primary content type. Having a higher level of frequency that you're publishing your content allows you to get your work out into the world. Not only does it allow you to have the space to improve on your skill, but it also allows you to be able to build your library of content sooner. The best thing that you can do for your business is to just get your ideas and your frameworks and your process out there for people to experience. Even if the background isn't aesthetic, even if the situation that you're in isn't ideal, getting into the practice of publishing your content and getting it in the hands of potential clients and community members is what is actually going to grow and benefit your business the most, not sitting around holding on to the idea, waiting for perfect circumstances. The important thing about having a higher frequency of publishing as well is that you are also able to prioritize gathering decision-making data that you will need in order to make adjustments along the way. What I mean by that is if you're, considering posting content on a bi-weekly schedule, thinking about it in this way, a bi-weekly schedule means that you're only going to have two main access points for your audience to experience your long-form high quality piece of content versus if you follow a weekly schedule, that's 4 times that they can experience your content in a month. So you need to be able to get those reps in order to build the muscle and get in the practice of posting at a frequent schedule, really getting committed to the process of what is actually required from beginning to end of you creating the idea as well as publishing that piece of content, getting it into the hands of your potential audience, as well as gathering the data that you will need in order to make adjustments. By that I mean, is this piece of content actually converting? Do your ideal clients actually enjoy consuming content in this particular way? Is this leading to more sales in your business, more email list subscriptions, more followers, even more comments, engagement from your audience? The more that you're able to publish your content, the more opportunities you have to gather that vital information. And when it comes to 6 months or a year from now, you're able to adjust your schedule accordingly because you have the data to actually back it up. This is why publishing more rather than less actually benefits your business. And you can't build a successful business, especially when you're following the high converting content process, by just publishing once a month. You really want to consider how often can you post on a consistent basis without sacrificing quality. You don't need to publish every single day, but you do need to be able to commit to a consistency and really stick with it, adjusting your schedule accordingly. Now, when it comes to the astrology, your 6th house can actually be a really great place to focus on to really figure out what this cadence can actually look like that is going to be coherent with you and your business and just the nature of how you are designed. So considering how frequently you are going to be publishing your content and how long it's going to take for you to create that content. For example, I commit to a weekly schedule with my podcast. I publish one long form podcast episode every single week without fail. I also know that I am somebody that definitely enjoys having a lot more space within my schedule. I need the flexibility in place, not just for my full-time job, but I also need it just because I am definitely somebody that fluctuates in terms of my energy management. I need to be able to take time off. And so a weekly cadence actually works best for me because I'm able to set my schedule accordingly. I'm able to take time to batch record my episodes and also allocate time to edit, to schedule it out utilizing technology, to create short form clips using my secondary content types based on what I've already created via the podcast episode for that week. All of that is able to work together and really help me to create my version of the high converting content process. Your process may look a little bit differently, but these are all things that you need to take into consideration when it comes to planning your content. Now, once you have your content, it is created, it's published, it's ready to go. Let's talk about publishing and scheduling, utilizing the timing of your content with astrology. Now, the timing of your content is everything, which is why incorporating astrology into your content strategy can help you leverage your content to make the most of it. And my secret weapon for this is actually planetary planning. This is actually something that until this point only talked about with my private clients, but I want to share it with you now because it is just so valuable in the high converting content process. So planetary planning is essentially utilizing two planetary techniques that are based in traditional astrology. The first one is planetary days, and this is really simple. Each day of the week is ruled by one of the 7 traditional planets. The sun rules Sunday, the moon rules over Monday, Mars rules over Tuesday, Mercury rules over Wednesday, Jupiter rules over Thursday, Venus rules over Friday, and Saturn rules over Saturday. One of the most common ways that I see business owners utilizing this, even without knowing the astrological background of it, is by optimizing their schedule on a general basis. I often see business owners that will take either Mondays or Fridays off, have them for themselves, or use these days for CEO days, doing back-end work. They're not in front of the camera, they're not meeting with clients. Instead, they're really utilizing this time to support their business on the back end and actually recharge, re-energize so that they're able to lead on the other days. Now, if they're following a more traditional Monday through Friday schedule, taking Monday or Friday off for those CEOs or those off days, by extension, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are then allocated to the other front-facing tasks that are required within their business. That could look like using these days to schedule meetings with clients, doing interviews, creating and posting content, etc. Whatever just needs to get done in order for your business to run on a weekly basis. That is the most traditional way that I see business owners using this system. However, you can take it a step further and really optimize it using the placements within your chart. Again, each of the days of the week are ruled by one of the 7 traditional planets. So you can really take inspiration from where these 7 traditional planets are in your chart. What sign rules over that planet? What house are they in? This can really help you to adjust the schedule accordingly that works better with your nature versus following a generalized path for what your work schedule needs to look like. You can also utilize this in terms of scheduling and timing your content by really leaning into which day is going to be best to optimize that particular piece of content. So for example, let's say that you're looking to schedule out your long form piece of content. If you really want your audience to be able to take action, consume it, really dial in on your call to action, then a Tuesday, Mars Day, might be a really good day for you to lean into this. Or perhaps even a Wednesday, which is Mercury's day, content creation, the sharing of ideas and communications. If you are really looking to optimize visibility, perhaps you have like an interview that is going out for that week's long form piece of content. Scheduling this out for a Thursday, Jupiter's day, the planet of expansion, could work very well for your particular astrology. You can also utilize this by thinking about the other placements that you have in your chart as well. Depending on the piece of content itself, you can adjust this to focus on what planet rules over particular placements in your chart, like your midheaven ruler or your chart ruler, which would actually be very good if you wanted to schedule something out that is going to perhaps help to increase visibility with your audience. Planetary days are really, really good for getting to know the energy of that particular day, working with the energy of each of the 7 traditional planets and infusing that energy into the content that you create and schedule out. Now, you can actually take this a step further by utilizing the second technique within planetary planning, which is planetary hours. So this takes it a step further. Along with every day being ruled by one of the 7 traditional planets, each hour in each of those days is then ruled by one of the 7 traditional planets. This is really fantastic for scheduling out content, live events, but also just like the scheduling and timing of the events that are going on within your business and your life. Even if you are scheduling a piece of content out on a particular day, you can further emphasize that planetary energy by focusing on planetary hours. So let's say, for example, you have a piece of content that you really want to utilize. Even if you're scheduling it out on a Wednesday, on a Mercury's day, you can also perhaps plan to schedule it out at a Jupiter hour to perhaps also tap into secondarily that expansion energy. There are so many different combinations and ways that you can play around with this based on the energy of your particular chart. What I really love about planetary planning and having this be the final part for the high converting content process is that it's just a really fantastic way to energetically infuse astrology into your content and to give it a natural boost outside of you just sitting down to create the content itself. For business owners, this is essential to creating converting content. Even just making the shift of being aware of the energetic difference between the planetary hours and the planetary days can really help you to get a sense of how your nature naturally flows and how the nature that you exhibit on a day-to-day basis works alongside the energies of your astrology chart. This is a really fantastic way for you to bring astrology into your business in a way that feels really authentic and really supportive. And so with all this, you have so much support from your astrology chart to create content that converts. If you want to get support on how to create high converting content using the high converting content process and how to leverage the planetary planning process to match the energy of your unique astrology chart, then I want to invite you to work with me. There are a variety of different ways that we can work together in order to do all of this. I want to encourage you to check out the description show notes below. This will list all the ways that we can work together with all of this and so much more. Let me know what's resonated for you with this episode and how you're going to utilize both planetary planning and content planning using astrology within your business. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.